What is good, my fellow Chicago Bears fans? Hope you guys are doing well and hope you guys are having an amazing day. But on today's video, I want to talk about two things. Now, the first thing being something that really interesting came out and how this thing is really showing us that this team, that this coaching staff, that this front office is really changing how things are being done with the Chicago Bears. And secondly, we're going to talk about why Justin Fields should not start week 1. And before you come at me in the comments, hear me out. I'm a guy who also made a video on why he should start week 1. So just hear me out in the comments down below. But before we dive into today's video, hey guys, if you could sack that like button, smash that like button until it becomes blue. And also comment below what you thought of today's video and any other videos ideas I should do. And also share the video with a couple of your other Bears fans. But with that being said, let's dive right into today's video. So what really interesting that came out was that the Chicago Bears plan to play Justin Fields quite a bit during preseason. And if you really look at this is something that I haven't really seen from Matt Nagy and from the Bears in years past. And in 2018, Matt Nagy, as a head coach, rested his starters in the third game of the preseason, which is fair, which is what a lot of teams do. But what a lot of teams don't do is not play them at all. And that's what Matt Nagy did in 2019. And his reasoning for this was that of the preseason injuries for Leonard Floyd and Adam Shaheen. He didn't want those two players to get injured. So he just said, okay, the starters are not playing. But if you look at Leonard Floyd and Adam Shaheen, these are two players who are constantly injured. And side note, if you want me to do a stories on their players, like their rises and falls, let me know that in the comment section below. And yeah, I'll do them. And this in turn really hurt the Chicago Bears in 2019 offensively. And in that week 1 game, that was just miserable to watch. And I know this is going to bring back nightmares. But in that game, the Chicago Bears only scored 3 points. And former quarterback Mitchell Trubisky had a really bad game. So he threw for 0 touchdowns. He went 26 for 45 and threw 1 pick. So with this rumor coming out, I think we're really seeing a brand new Matt Nagy. And I would go to as far to say that we're really seeing a brand new Chicago Bears team. I mean, this team to me feels special, and I have this nostalgia. I have this feeling that I've never gotten from a Chicago Bears team, and I think maybe that's because of Justin Fields, and probably it's because of Justin Fields, but it just feels special. I mean, this year our GM, who never picks offensive linemen, picked 2 offensive linemen. He picked a little stud and a little steal in the second round by getting Tevin Jenkins, a guy who's one of the most aggressive offensive linemen and one of the nicest guys in Chicago. You see Tevin Jenkins interacting with his fans. That's just a player that you want to see in Chicago. Then he went in and got Laley Boom, who people are saying he's huge, and he's another steal who we were able to get in the 5th round. And if I'm not mistaken, the Bears had a 3rd round grade on him. Then in the later rounds, he went and got a speedy receiver in Daz Newsome, and he got a running back who will probably take over Cordell Patterson's role, and that's Khalil Herbert, another steal who can also probably fill in for reps for Tariq Cohen and David Montgomery. Khalil Herbert is an underrated piece on this team. Then in free agency, Ryan Pace, a guy who tends to go defense, last year he went and got Robert Quinn, went absolutely crazy in the out receiver position. So first he brought in Marquise Goodwin, a steal. He's already proving to be a steal and a piece who can make a major impact on this team. Then he got Demarius Byrd, another guy who's just 28 and can also make a big impact on this team. And both of these players have already connected their quarterbacks. So with Demarius Byrd, he connected with Justin Fields, and with Marquise Goodwin, he connected with Andy Dalton. And again, Ryan Pace is just doing things really differently than he has had done in years past. Furthermore, Ryan Pace went out there and got Justin Fields, the biggest chess move, the biggest move that nobody saw coming. I mean, for Ryan Pace to literally get Justin Fields, this literally makes this the best draft ever, and quite possibly the best year of Chicago Bears football. But this news really impacts Justin Fields, because I think with Justin Fields starting in preseason, he can work on a lot of things that he might be struggling with. For example, now he can work on commanding a huddle. He can work on his mechanics, working on his processing time, work on his pocket awareness. And if you really look at Justin Fields' processing time in college, scouts called him being really slow. Now he can really work on this and make this faster. He can also work with wide receivers, great wide receivers in Allen Robinson, Darnell Mooney, Marquise Goodwin, Demarius Byrd, David Montgomery, and Tariq Cohen, and working on getting that chemistry. Now, this is only if all these players play during preseason, which I think definitely Marquise Goodwin, Demarius Byrd will, but still, Justin Fields can work with them and improve that chemistry. And if Justin Fields impresses in preseason, if he impresses in training camp, I think it's going to be hard for Matt Nagy not to name him the starter come week 1. But I also know that Matt Nagy probably won't do that because of what he said on podcasts and also what he said during press conferences. And quite frankly, this might be a really good idea. As long as he's going with the better quarterback, I have no problem with this. But again, this is why I think it's a good idea and why it's a good idea to just let Justin Fields not start week 1 and instead later. So week 1, the Chicago Bears play the LA Rams. I know I've said in the past like how Justin Fields and how the Rams are nothing for Justin Fields and how this is like a test of Justin Fields as ace before. But after thinking about it, Justin Fields played the Clemsons, the Alabamas, the Northwesterns of the world, and none of those teams match up to the talent the Rams have. The Rams have like Leonard Floyd, they have Aaron Donald, they have Jalen Ramsey. These are players with the talent that Justin Fields has never played with in the past, and I just don't want him to go out there and play with a hard team. And also, according to PFF, the Rams have the 4th best defense, and that's hard for any rookie to do. In comparison, a guy who I really think Justin Fields is going to have a similar year towards was Rookie of the Year Justin Herbert. When Justin Herbert debuted, he played against the 17th best defense. And for a rookie quarterback in his first game to go against the 4th best defense, you're just asking for something to go wrong. You can't do that to your rookie quarterback. Instead, I think the Chicago Bears should play Justin Fields in week 4. Now, another reason why I don't think Justin Fields should start week 1 is that offensive line. And that offensive line last year was not good, and they scare me. The last thing I want is for Justin Fields to get injured. We don't want that. We don't want to see our guy go down. So I really want to see the offensive line get to a level to where they can be good, where they can be elite. I don't think this is a necessarily problem for Justin Fields considering he's a mobile quarterback, but still, it's still a cause of concern. I think by week 4, by the Lions game, Justin Fields will be ready. I also think with him watching Andy Dalton, with him really working on the things that he has to work on, I think by week 4, everything should be good to go. The offensive line, he should be playing at an elite level, and I think he would start week 4 against the Lions. And this is a perfect game. First, the Lions are a NFC North rival, and if Mitch could beat the Lions, Justin Fields can totally beat the Lions. And he's basically owned Michigan teams in the past with Michigan and Michigan State, so I definitely think Justin Fields can beat the Lions. But I want to know what you guys thought about this video. Let me know that in the comment section below. But if you guys haven't done so already, and if you enjoyed today's video, please like this video for the YouTube algorithm, share the video with a couple of your friends, and comment below when you think Justin Fields should start. But with that being said, peace out and bear down.